Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show, Wednesday, the 24th of February, 2021. Well done. Made it to today. Feels good. Good to be alive. Good to be here. Today is an interesting evening. Champions League, of course, second night. Chelsea last night. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about Arsenal. And we'll talk about everything that happened last night. I thought last night was really, really interesting. And a great story broke about Man United and something that's going on there, which I have not understood for a year and a half. The David De Gea situation has been very, very interesting for me for a while. Cliff Central Sport, by the way, on all social media platforms. Otherwise, I am MKT Inspires on social media. You can follow me on all the platforms. I don't know. I think I'm on everyone. I'm about to start a TikTok account. I don't think I'm going to be doing any of those TikTok dances, though. Can't see that happening. But I don't know. We'll find a way. Got to stay relevant, huh? Get on the TikTok. All right, big football games tonight. Rugby to look forward to come the weekend. Really looking forward to that. We'll start off with Chelsea last night. By the way, again, MKT Inspires. Otherwise, sport at cliffcentral.com if you would like to electronically mail me, which is like a telegram for the young folks. Back then, there was a different telegram to the Russian, IM that we have now. All right, let's get into it. Listen, last night was a very, very interesting. If you're a Chelsea fan, I think it was very, very interesting to see Chelsea playing Atletico Madrid. And I've always misunderstood something, right? I've always thought it was always best to be smart. Like if you're smart, you'll win, all right? But if you go and look at the history of civilizations and people and businesses, it's actually always better to be organized. It's always better to be organized than smart. But I'm learning this. I wish somebody had told me when I was 15, and I bet somebody tried, but I wasn't ready to listen. It's always better to be organized than smart. Right? Because smart people tend to be very individualistic. And individuals that are very individualistic, and I know this because I'm individualistic, is they don't tend to be very organized. And that leads to all sorts of problems. Because people have bad memories, right? Like no business is one person. Makes no sense. So I always say it's always better to be organized than smart. And you saw that on full display last night because smart people look for shortcuts. They do. That's just how people work. All right. So they forget to get tough and be grind and care about people next to them, which really matters in community. This thing we call community, and teams and businesses and the organization or company, as we know it. Right. It's much better to be organized than smart. You saw it last night. I think Chelsea and Lampard has been it's a pity because he's a Chelsea legend, right? But the exposure of Lampard now is glaring. Because what you saw last night was there's no way on paper Chelsea are equal to Atletico Madrid. What they have is a manager who understands what he's doing. Now, this may be short term, but what Chelsea are is really, really organized. Really organized. Talented, of course, but organized, because that was the La Liga leaders, and Chelsea had 64% of the ball and probably should have won by 2 or 3 if they were a little bit more clinical, keeping in mind they're 8 games into this thing. 64% of the ball. 64% of the ball. And, as I'm getting older as well, and I'm sure we all have this at work, right? We've all had a manager come in at work or in leadership, or we may have done this ourselves. Maybe in our relationship, is that you start off by being nice to people because most of us want to please people. That's who we are. Not all of us, but most of us. And at the beginning, everybody thinks the right way is to be nice, and then you can kind of revert back to who you are. It actually always ends badly that way, doesn't it? If you're a hardcore person, if you're a short person, an impatient person, you don't want to start off by being nice to people. That's not the way it works, right? Because people will eventually see you for who you are. So what you got to do is just start off by being who you are, especially in leadership and especially in sport where there's alpha males and females. Because if you try and be rah-rah, if you're a cerebral person, the dressing room will spot you. You try and be rah-rah and loud and commanding if you're really more of a, what they call in leadership, a cooperative type of person. That they'll pick you out. Alphas will pick you out. But I'll tell you the thing about being nice up front. It's very, very hard in life to start off being nice and then get mean to people. They don't like that. It's a lot easier to be mean at the beginning and sort of back off, right? It's a lot easier to do it that way. And that way, you set a marker, right? Thomas Tuchel has made it very, very clear. I don't care if you're Hudson-Odoi and I came in and you started and you're the star player and you're the big talent and we just gave you a bumper deal. I don't care. I will sub you off even though you're a sub. 20 minutes, I've seen enough. That's nonsense. Get the hell out of here. And I don't care about the backlash. And I'm not going to lie about it in the media and sugarcoat it and say it was tactical and this and injuries and whatever. I didn't like how you played. We've all got managers who started off very nice and then their character kind of spews out in the end. And you're like, hey, this person's so commanding and they're tough but they started off so nice. It's that never works. Be who you are at the beginning. It's always easier. Folks, being mean to people, being short, listen, people will always deal with honest, especially as you grow up, right? Like if you've got a short temper and you are that upfront, people deal with it. Grown-ups deal with that all the time. What people don't like is, oh, I'm Mr. and Mrs. Nice. And then you know, every now and then you see that temper or you see how impatient they are or you see that they don't like something. Like, should have told me that up front. It's a lot easier to be Thomas Tuchel than Frank Lampard because Lampard had to cuddle the babies, right? And then he was trying to get kind of tough at the end. And what happened? Tuchel, it's clear. We're organized and you don't have to be on board, by the way. Hudson-Odoi, I don't care who you are. I'll pull you off. That's nice. That's a standard. That's a standard. Listen, since Tuchel has been here, Chelsea have not looked troubled once. They've conceded 2 goals. One of those an own goal by. They look organized. It's a team who understand what is expected. And a manager, probably they haven't had this since Antonio Conte. And even he was a little bit wishy-washy. They probably haven't had this since Jose Mourinho, where it's very clear who's in charge. The manager. And you got to love that. Folks, people like expectations. They may not tell you up front. It may be a little bit of a shock to them. They'll thank you later. But with Lampard, there was no clarity, right? He didn't include the whole squad. I mean, you can't have 4 or 5 guys feeling alienated. I mean, Aritha Balaga, I don't know how Tuchel's managing that situation. And I've always said this on the show, is that I always want to dislike my leadership a little bit. And Tuchel's got a little bit of that because when you sub a young player after 20 minutes, that hurts. Trust me. Alpha male, big player, big money. He's probably big, you know, on social media. Hudson-Odoi, he won't like what happened. Tuchel doesn't care. That's really important because I'll stress this until I die. Leadership have to do the right thing, not the popular thing. And that's hard, folks. It is so hard. Everybody now wants to be popular and liked and be seen as the next Malcolm Gladwell, right? And Oprah and warm leadership. And winning's tough. Winning's hard. It's not a popularity contest. It is not a this is why nobody likes politicians, right? Because they're upfront, soft, nice, they sell you the dream, and then after 6 months, you've seen what they are. This is why Jeff Bezos and these guys win. This is why Elon Musk, his retention. Elon Musk does not care one bit about HR. Right? From what I've read is he pays his guys like over-the-top salaries, but they don't sleep. If you find, hey, you get a better job elsewhere, good luck. The standard's clear, is we're going to work 24/7 here. And apparently, if Elon Musk calls 2 a.m., pick up the phone or you're gone. And by the way, I read a nice article, or nice, depending how you look at it. But Elon Musk, apparently guy didn't pick up his phone at a certain time. By the way, his key card didn't work the next day. And I don't know if this is folklore or not. Key card didn't work the next day. Elon Musk didn't even ask for the money back. I paid you, get the hell out. That's business, baby. It's not a popularity contest. This idea, and I understand, in the modern era, it's collaboration. Let's work together. People want to feel valued, right? Now, I come from a different school of thinking. I was raised, the world is a better place when people do their jobs and they don't expect recognition for that. It's a better place when people do their jobs and they don't expect recognition for that. Now, there's a reason why these places like Tesla and Bezos with what he's got at Amazon and Manchester United, and you look at the great Bill Belichick. You go and look at the dynasties. You look at the great Australian team that won for 15 years, right? Do your job. I mean, if you want to look for a great story that kind of epitomizes this, Dean Jones, while batting, got horrendously ill. Alan Border, arguably the greatest captain they've had. I think Ponting is, but okay. Australian captain, Alan Border. Oh, man, brutal. Proper tough guy when cricket was cricket, right? Now, but before social media, before cool beards and man buns. Alan Border says to him, I don't care how sick you are. You bat, otherwise you're dropped. Right? And Alan Border's like, listen, if you're young, you don't know who Alan Border is, go and look him up. Next level legend. Dean Jones went on to make a massive 100. I believe he lost 12 kilograms while batting. That's a real story, right? Like, that's leadership. I come from that. I don't want to hear about you wanting to get recognized for doing your job. And I think Thomas Tuchel has set that standard. He said, we're here to win. I'm here to win, not to please people. And it's very difficult for people to hear that, especially in 2021, because everybody wants to be told they're special. Everyone wants to hear it. You're special, and we value you at the company. Leave that for Montessori. Go to your yoga course in Thailand with all that nonsense. You want to win, get some leaders. Get Fergie, get Prime Wenger, get Mourinho, Pep Guardiola. You see what it's like at Man City. Pep Guardiola, first season, Samuel Eto'o, get the hell out. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, I don't like that. Season later, you get the hell out. Two of the most legendary players of this time, my way or the highway. Get the hell out of here. That's just how it is. Listen, you look at the Bayern Munich model, right? The most powerful man in world football, possibly world sport, a guy called Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Go and read some articles about him. He is not interested in popularity contests. Nobody in football likes him, but you want to get anything in European football done, run it by him. And by the way, Bayern Munich, it is an unapologetic autocracy. What do they keep doing? Man United, when they were winning, what was the order? Fergie, everybody else. Winning is an ugly business, folks. Thomas Tuchel's brought that back to Chelsea, and you saw a little bit of that last night. They're a different team now. It's a whole different thing, right? Listen, Chelsea beat United on Sunday. It's top 2 for Chelsea. I still don't think Man United are going to make top 4. And I'm not just saying it because I'm not anybody but United. I'm telling you, I've seen what I've seen. That ain't going to work. I've seen what I've seen. Chelsea beat United on Sunday. This whole thing, the bubble bursts, and it's all over. It is all over. Trust me. I think Chelsea are going to come second. I said at the beginning of the season, the talent it's outrageous in that squad. Now, they're not Real Madrid. They're not Barcelona. But they got talent, and now they're organized. But talent doesn't win, folks. You got to be organized. It's always better to be organized and smart. Thomas Tuchel, what a job this guy's done. Nine games in. Imagine what it's going to be like 35 games in. And he'll get some of his guys. By the way, Havertz has not even started. COVID's just crushed Havertz's heart. So great performance by Chelsea. Good for Tuchel. I was a doubter, but good for Tuchel. Set the standard and let the cards fall where they may. Better to be organized than to be smart. Great performance by Chelsea last night. Really should have been 2 or 3. It should have been 2 or 3. I think they missed a lot of chances, and I think you're seeing a little bit of Werner coming back. The confidence still isn't all the way there, but nice performance. A nice performance. All right. Before we finish up, let's go to the Man United situation. So I was reading an article about Henderson wanting out at the end of the season. I'm with him. I think we all have to be honest sometimes. I think I have to be honest. I've been bad in my life of letting go of people that at a stage are actually sort of curtailing my growth, that are no longer good for me, right? I'm not one for reciprocal behavior. I'm all about let's set some standards and we behave to a standard. Because people that are into reciprocal behavior, what if I'm in a bad mood? Are you going to be in a bad mood now? So I don't like reciprocal behavior. I like to behave to my own standard. I know people always say, treat people how you want to be treated. No, I have a certain standard for myself. I'm not going to let myself be sucked into your bad mood, your bad day. I'm going to behave to my standard, right? So, but we're really bad at this, like breaking up with people in any sense, firing people from work. I'm not big on retention. Like, it's the biggest madness thing in the world. I've never understood this. I've never understood it. And I think for me, it's a self-confidence issue. Move on from people. Man United right now have no self-confidence. It's been 8 brutal years. Under Fergie, it was clear what was going to happen. But we're really bad at breaking up with people, especially when they stop serving us in a positive sense. People can serve you in 2 ways, negative and positive. Serving you is not always about you. When people serve you in a positive fashion, it becomes what they call quid pro quo. Listen, the great rule in sport, definitely, and in business, but let's just focus on sport. Always move on a year early. Always, 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 always. It's never in history worked out, ever, where you keep a guy 2 years too long. The secret is move on a year early. There's a thing called the United Way. David Beckham, at his peak, started to Spice Boy, all of that, releasing haircuts at practice. What happened the next season? People are still mad at Man United. Alex Ferguson said, get the hell out of here. Jaap Stam, best defender in the world. Some rumblings about his contract. Get the hell out. Ruud van Nistelrooy, probably the best fox in the box the Premier League's ever seen. Not the best forward, but certainly the best fox in the box. Rumblings about his contract. He wanted more credit. You've heard that interview. If you haven't heard it, go and look up the interview with Ruud van Nistelrooy about Manchester United. Fergie, and this is prime Ruud van Nistelrooy, because he went on to Real Madrid, by the way, to kill it. He was unbelievable for 3 seasons at Real Madrid. Fergie said, get the hell out of here. I'm not having that here. Nobody's bigger than this. Folks, always. And I apply it in my life. My thing is this. I always want to serve me. So not everybody's my personality, but let me tell you the life rule. Move off people. Move off people. And the idea that Manchester United won't move off David De Gea has been ridiculous now for 2 seasons. This is the 3rd season. Folks, I was going to give you the stats about how many mistakes he's made. He's the most error-prone keeper over the last 3 seasons. But that's not even the point of it. Alex Ferguson famously said, once a great goalkeeper starts making mistakes, move on, because the mistakes don't stop. They should have moved on from De Gea 2 years ago. They gave him a new deal. That's smart. You still need to lock down, obviously, the asset. Henderson signed a new deal earlier this season. I don't think he wants to leave United. What he's saying is, I want to play. Listen, it happened to Chelsea, right? Peter Cech, arguably top 3 greatest keepers in the league, in league history. Schmeichel, him, David Seaman. You take your pick. Jens Lehmann, take your pick for the greatest. Chelsea had a 21-year-old at Atletico Madrid who made the Champions League final out on loan. His name was Thibaut Courtois. That prime Czech on the back end, but certainly in his prime still, on the back end of his prime. Courtois said, I want to play. Courtois played. Because you've seen the best of David De Gea. He's not going to get any better now. This has been the best, and I think we're on the other side of his best. You've already seen what he can be. You're being dishonest as a Man United fan if you think David De Gea is better than Henderson right now. You're being completely dishonest. Don't romanticize people in sport. I've always loved Fergie for this. I've always loved Roman Abramovich for this. I love that leadership of style. Listen, I don't support the Patriots, but I followed the Patriots dynasty very closely. I love the Australian cricket team for this. The Australian cricket team dropped Steve Waugh. Mark Waugh got dropped. Matthew Hayden got dropped. Those 3 are probably the best in their positions that have ever played that sport. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, yes, he went on to win this year in the Super Bowl, but get the hell out of here. I can do it without you. You've got to have the self-confidence to move on from people. Fergie was the king of it. Tell you who wasn't, was Arsene Wenger. He held on to play. Abu Dhabi stayed way too long. Folks, you want to win. It's a brutal business. It's a brutal business. Man United are telling me winning's not the priority right now. De Gea should have gone 2 years ago. He's not bigger than Man United. They've had Peter Schmeichel before. They've had Edwin van der Sar. Man United will move on. Don't be held prisoner by David De Gea. Henderson is clearly, at the very least, as good as De Gea right now. At the very least, he's as good as De Gea right now. He's at the beginning of his arc. He's only going to get better for the next 5 years. Get rid of De Gea. Should have happened 2 years ago, but it's never too late to do the right thing. Get rid of him. You got 2 years left on the deal. It ends in the summer of 2024. Right? That gives you 3 years on the back end of the deal. You never count the last year of a deal because players always run that down. You know why? Bosman ruling. I get into the last 6 months of my contract. I triple my wages because if clubs don't have to pay a transfer fee for me, so I never count the back end of a deal. He's really got 2 years left on his deal. No player leaves in the last year of their deal. No smart player anyway. Folks, get rid of De Gea. It's over. It is over. Folks, this relationship has been over for three years. I don't understand this. I do not understand. We can all see it. We can all see it. De Gea is finished. By his standards, he's finished. Could he play in the top 6 team? Maybe. But he's not better than Henderson right now. And Henderson's the worst. This is the worst version of Henderson you'll ever see. It's the worst version of Henderson you'll ever see. It's the best version of De Gea that you will have ever seen. Henderson's just as good as it. What are we doing? Move on. It's over. Man United need to organize themselves. I'm sorry. Don't get emotional. In business, don't get emotional. I'll keep saying this. Pay production, not talent. Reward production. Stop rewarding talent. You know, we all make this mistake in life, is everybody will pick the better looking girlfriend, the better looking boyfriend. All right, I guarantee you, if they're not a good person, after 6 months, I don't care how hard his six-pack is, ladies. Her six-pack, gents. If she's a terrible person, it's over. Right? If they're not a productive person, if they're not a grown-up, move off. De Gea, I'm sorry. Listen, it's over. Henderson is the guy now. Reward the next guy. Don't idealize people. And it's hard, folks, because you romanticize De Gea for the last 5 years being the cat-like shot stopper. That's over. He's Alisson on steroids. He's much worse than Alisson. Alisson's had 5 bad games. De Gea's had 3 horrible seasons. But if Man United are still that Man United, De Gea's had 3 horrendous seasons. So, I don't know. Make your pick. But for me, I don't know what we're still doing here. Let's move on. Let's go to the next level. If you're Man United, I would have moved on 2 seasons ago. I'd love to know what people think, but I do not understand this thing of idealizing people. I'll say it again. Reward production, not talent. We're all really bad with bias, folks. We do this all the time. We pick the better looking person. We pick the person that's like us. We don't always pick the best person for the job. In business, you want to win. In football, you want to win. Don't be liked. Don't be popular. The popular thing is to keep De Gea. He's a Man United legend. The right thing to do is to get Henderson in. You let Henderson leave. You let Henderson leave. Chelsea will pay 25 million for him. I think he's at least as good as Mendy. Chelsea will do it. Man City, you need a backup keeper. They will pay him. Arsenal could do it. Listen, I like Bernd Leno. I don't think he's better than Henderson. Bernd Leno can't play with his feet. He's not a complete keeper. He's a great shot stopper. Bernd Leno is what De Gea was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Cat-like shot stopper. I've never loved De Gea's feet, by the way. Henderson can play with the feet. And you need that in modern-day football. You need a sweeper keeper. De Gea's listen, I don't know what Man United fans always think, but De Gea is an old-school keeper. He is not a modern-day keeper by any stretch of the imagination. His feet are not great. Hey, he's not Vito Valdez. He is not. I mean, I don't want to say Manuel Neuer, but he's not Ter Stegen. He's never been Ter Stegen level. He's never been Keylor Navas level. I'm sorry. He's not a complete keeper. I mean, Edison's, I think Edison's top 2 or 3. I think no one's Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer could play holding mid. But De Gea is, I got to tell you, he's a bit of an analog product in a digital time. Because he's not a sweeper keeper, be honest. And if you say he is, I mean, you're being ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. All right, listen, for tonight, we'll wrap it up here. I'd love to know what people think. I'd love to hear from United fans. sport@cliffcentral.com. Otherwise, I am MKT. That's Mike Kilo Tango. MKT Inspires on social media. Hey, be a friend, tell a friend, tell people about the show. Before you go, push like. That helps us on the algorithm to move up the charts. Remember, in less than, I'd say 3 weeks. Within the next 3 weeks, I'll make the announcement. But we are moving from midday, or from now to midday. That's 12 a.m., which is midday, to 2 p.m. So 12 midday to 2 p.m. That's midday to 2 o'clock every single day. So again, you got that horrible person. Everybody has this person at work who just wants to chat. I don't care about your cat. If you got that person, maybe you can ignore them for 2 hours and just get on the grind, right? Keep you company for 2 hours while you're at work. If you got a horrible boss that you're trying to avoid for 2 hours and they screaming, you can have them screaming over there. Rather listen to me talking nonsense to a microphone. And by the way, I think you'll like it. We're planning to not just have me, but we're going to have 1 or 2 people with me. And I think you'll be happy with the production quality. The support's been awesome. Keep sending your messages, by the way, sport@cliffcentral.com. Otherwise, MKT Inspires. Otherwise, Cliff Central Sport on all social media platforms. Cliff C Sport on the Tweet Monster. Please feel free to share your opinions. 12 midday to 2 p.m. That will be happening very soon, so you can listen at work. That'll be live on YouTube, and once we start that, it will be podcast, of course, across the board. So that announcement will be coming. Just keep that in mind. But for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you were doing before this, remember to click like before you go, and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Like, share, subscribe. Please spread the love. Hey, be a friend, tell a friend. Let them know. Best show they haven't heard yet. My name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. You could have been anywhere with anybody tonight. You chose to spend the time with me. That doesn't say anything good about you, by the way. You are not making good choices, but I appreciate you for it. I enjoy doing it. It's good times. Good vibes tonight. Big Champions League games tonight. Looking forward to watching that. Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, it has been an absolute pleasure. MKT. That's Gareth Cliff, who's physically distancing. Loves sport, by the way, that guy. That's why I allow him into the studio every evening. Great to be with you. But for now, from Cliff Central Sport, MKT, we are the hell out of here.